Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I am your host, Dewey Bear, and joining me today is Rody Pie, as always.
Hey!
And the special new person we have, so excited, is Happy Kitty. Happy __ Kitty, if you want to find her on Twitch. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. It's so nice to have you on.
Good to be here.
And you are, so just since it's your first time here, I guess go ahead and introduce yourself. You're a Twitch streamer?
I am. My name is Happy Kitty. I used to go by kittycat8587. Now it is Kitty Happy __ Kitty, as you mentioned before. I am a variety streamer, and I usually focus on games with a story element to it, whether it be RPG, whether it be point-and-click adventure, whether it just be narrative walkthroughs, the stories that tell themselves. So I like stories.
Yeah.
And I like sharing them.
That is one thing all three of us, I think, have in common, although we might enjoy different deliveries, different delivery systems of stories. But yeah, so of course on the topic of games, that's why we're all here today. So what have y'all been playing this week? So Rody, what have you been up to?
I've been ill this week, so I really wanted to jump back into the shape-shifting detective, because oh my god, that's such an amazing game. But on the few times when I was feeling a bit better, I was pottering around on Out of Sight. I think we spoke about this game last week, and it's another one of those kind of your 3D kind of model game where you're finding all the objects, but it's really, I don't know, really quite beautiful looking. It's not comparative.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the name of Is this hidden?
No, Out of Sight.
Out of Sight, that's right. Out of Sight. Yes. Okay. I missed that. Out of Sight. There we go.
So it's not like the last game I played where it was like you have to compare the two pictures. It's just like it looks like a 3D model, and you're turning it round, and you're trying to find, and it's giving you a list of things to find, and it's just quite relaxing, really pretty. The only problem is issue that I had with it is whenever there was like a one where it was set at night time, it was like it was annoying because there wasn't like a light source or anything, so it was just like, oh my god, I can't see anything at all. So yeah, that was just annoying. But there are things that you can interact with that open doors. Like there was like a kitchen scene where you could open like the oven, and sometimes there'd be an object in there. So it was all like, yeah, it was like really nicely done, very nicely stylized. So yeah, that was mainly what I played. I did, of course, play Final Fantasy XI as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, and also I bought the Everybody Wham Wham original soundtrack because that came out this week.
Oh, awesome!
I had to buy it, and what I liked about it, it gave music, or gave the ending away of the other contestants if they won it instead of yourself.
Really?
So that was good, because that means, I don't really have to play through sort of the exact same thing again. I get the endings, and it was cool because they have their own little verse about them winning the competition. Oh, it was really cool.
Oh, Everybody Wham Wham was really charming, so it's cool. And also, shout out to Bonte Avant, the developer. They really liked just how quirky we found this game. So
yes.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I've got up to this week. What about yourself? What about everyone else?
Yeah. How about Kitty? What games have you been playing lately?
Sorry, I'm Still working on setup on my end. I thought I had everything ready, and then it went wonky. Usually, I have been trying to get through Phoenix Wright, the new remastered three games in one.
Oh, Phoenix Wright trilogy.
Unfortunately, because of energy, depression, and time constraint, I have not been able to keep up with story time. So I have at least one stream a week, every week, and that is my usual Pathfinder session. We are doing the original adventure path for Pathfinder Age of Ashes. We've been going on almost 2 years on this game, and we are on only on book 5 of 6. So we are just starting that one.
Oh, that sounds...
Other than that, that's it.
Yeah, that's Pathfinder is really awesome. I haven't checked it. I haven't been able to play it myself, but of course I watched your streams. Right now I'm in a D&D campaign, actually. Of course, on that note, what I've been playing is a lovely little game called Carto. I could only hold off from this game for so long. I did actually go and buy it. It was $20. But it's really pretty. It's actually quite challenging once you get past the first island. The first island, kind of just gives you the basics. And then the second island, it gets really difficult, some of the puzzles. But it's really fascinating because the solution to the puzzles are partly just you're overthinking it. Just think a little less and you'll figure this out, kind of thing. Like one of them, so in the forest, I don't want to spoil anything, but so there's in a forest and there's an element of the map that basically points you where you should be going. But there's also a path, and I kept following the path and trying to hook up the paths, etc. No, don't do that. Just go to the directions telling you to go, and that's it. Just do that, and that is a solution. And it was just so elementary, so simple, and it was just really, and I felt really dumb. But I haven't finished it yet. It's a charming story. It's a little bizarre, but in a sort of children's book kind of way. There's some kind of illogical stuff that happens, but I mean I feel like this was made so that kids could approach it, but it still has a decently challenged puzzle aspect. So I quite like it. Carto. 100% recommend this game. And I didn't really play much else, just Carto. It's been a blast. I'm on the 3rd island now, and I'm trying to navigate through this horrible worm tunnel puzzle. But not bad, but I'm gradually getting through it. But it's just like, oh, what do they want me to do with this next one? Because it doesn't give you much in the way of verbal instructions. It's kind of, you gradually start like, oh, this does this. And so you just kind of gradually have to piece it together. So the studio says it's supposed to be 5 to 7 hours. It's going to take me a lot longer than that, I think. But it's been really fun. So, yeah. It's Carto. It's $20, but I feel pretty happy that I purchased for that. Normally, I think I'd recommend to wait on sale, but I felt really good about spending $20 on this game. Yep. Okay, so with that, we can get on to the start of the show with our... Nope, wrong one. Catchup. There we go. With our catch-up list. So we have some games that we are catching up with from 2020 that we never got to talk about, and I'm really excited to start us off with the lovely game Radical Rabbit Stew.
Radical Rabbit Stew is a hair-raising action arcade game featuring fast-paced whack-a-rabbit gameplay, scintillating puzzles, supersized boss fights, juicy pixel graphics, and a sizzling soundtrack. Perfect for new players and 16-bit retro fans alike.
Scintillating is a very sexy word. As an English major, I was like, ooh, scintillating.
Somebody wrote that review really well.
This is it's so cute. I love rabbits, but I don't know, having raised them too, it's sometimes they can be a pain in this type of game. just cooking them. It's so funny. It's so adorable. The pixel art is fantastic. And there's just such little attention to detail. Even though the characters are really simply designed, the environments and the animations are so fluid and beautiful. I love it.
Honestly, when I first saw the video for this game, and you can find all of these games on it is a podcast. I was laughing, I was giggling, and at one point I actually said out loud, WTF. I was like, what is this? That is awesome.
I really love the way this looks. And it looks like it would be a fun party game. I think it's like shared split screen PvP. So yeah, I would love this to play with somebody else. Although, even though it can be single player as well, I'm not sure if it'd be as fun, for sure. This is definitely a party game.
Yeah, there's a full single player campaign, but it's more based around kind of the puzzle stuff. And when in a multiplayer, I think there's both cooperative and competitive multiplayer aspects to it. But yeah, so it can be like cooperative in a sort of what's that kitchen game? I'm blanking. Overcooked, yeah, in sort of overcooked sort of way. And then there's sort of more of a like almost Bomberman competition kind of thing going on. So it's so clever. There is a free demo, of course, to check out, which of course we always recommend that, and it is $15.99 USD.
It's $12.99 UK, and it's standing at 100% positive with 39 users.
Yeah, and this, of course, came out in July 16th, so it's 100% after, like, 7 or 8 months, so that's pretty impressive. That's going on my wish list. The studio Pugstorm Games is based out of Sweden, and Radical Rabbit Stew is their first game on Steam. All right, coming up next is Aeolis Tournament or Aeolis Tournament. I don't know. One of those ways.
I read it as Aeolis because of aioli.
Use the power of the wind to compete in the various games of the Storm Championship in this charmingly chaotic 8-player action party game. Aeolis tournament features physics-based gameplay, a tournament mode, and local and online multiplayer play. Oh, and that's the doorbell.
Oh, yeah. Food, yum-yums, right there. So I do really... This game is very much... The 3D is done in a way that it's absolutely meant to be kind of viewed from the top down. It's got, like, Nintendo-esque quality at that angle, but then up close to the models, they're like, not so nice to look at. But they are made for top down, and top down, this looks just Nintendo quality. It's really nice.
I mean, yeah, it looks nice. The gameplay is it's all A smashing. If you like one button smash, that's great. Me, I'm used to, old school gaming tourney type things where you gotta use the little joy pad and then hit the other buttons, and so it's like just constantly smashing A doesn't really feel all that great. And honestly, I'm questioning the price for this. It's $15 for the price of this for a top-down, not the greatest model button masher, like one button masher, and it's like, is that really worth $15? To me, it's not. I mean, to other people, it might be. It does look like a fun game, especially if you have a bunch of friends. This kind of reminds me more of what is that other top-down? This kind of reminds me of the Nintendo one with the squids and the inks.
Splatoon.
Splatoon. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a top-down Splatoon in that way, with more features other than just shooting ink at each other. But other than that, I can't see myself paying $15 for this. If it goes on sale for like 50% or more, I might be willing, but I don't think it's worth that price.
Yeah, and plus if it's like you want your other friends to play because there is online PvP as well, and you want them to get this this game, it's like that's the full price that they're paying as well. I think we keep saying this, like hoping a developer will get it eventually. It's like, if you want people to pick up a party game or one that's, you want your friends to pick up as well, it's like, put it at like quite a cheap price or a bundle price. Put it at bundle price, so you can then gift this to your friends, and people are more likely to pick it up.
Yeah, if you're doing a bundle price, say like 4 for $20, that's $5 a pop for you and your friend, for you and 3 other friends. Yeah. Or if you already have the game, that's $5 a pop for 4 other friends, which seems more like, for a game like this, seems more of a price point. But them being the studio that they are, and I noticed that they didn't have a whole lot. How many other games do they have? I don't think.
Beyond Fun? It's just Aeolis. Just Aeolis on Steam.
So I can understand why they put the high price tag, especially with it being their first game. But I think they might sell or might have sold more if they had either bundled it or put it at a cheaper price.
Yeah. This has also been funded through Kickstarter as well. So the price they usually charge, to Kickstarter game, is usually about 12 to 15 quid. So it would also, might explain why they've kept
trying to make up that difference and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want to make their don't want to make their backers feel bad, because we're now selling it for even cheaper than you paid for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would say, just had the backing level at maybe a bit of a lower tier, but maybe you wouldn't have gotten enough Kickstarter back. I don't know. You would have sold more Kickstarter backers. Who knows? There's a lot of economics going on here. But
it's £11.49 UK, and it's standing at 100% positive with 22 user reviews. So this doesn't. I don't know how many people backed it on Kickstarter. I mean, it was fully funded. But yeah, other than that, it's not picked up a lot of traction elsewhere.
It is, of course, also available on the Nintendo Switch, which might be an even better platform for this type of game. Especially if it does have a kind of nice little kids aesthetic, so I could see parents buying this for their kids as a party game or something. But yeah, Aeolis Tournament, it is by Beyond Fun Studio, which is a small studio from Quebec, Canada. And yeah, it's $14.99 USD. Next up is a long-awaited sequel to a very old game, Beyond a Steel Sky.
From multi-award winning Revolution Games, Beyond a Steel Sky, a groundbreaking 3D adventure thriller set in an AI-driven future, subvert the world, hack the system, and solve dark conspiracies to uncover the devastating truth.
So, if I remember correctly, the original game of this came out in the 90s, and it was more of a 2D point and click game back then, I think.
Yeah, it's Beneath a Steel Sky. Yeah, and it was had a bit. The guy who did the artwork worked in comics, and they brought him back as well to do the art for this. So it's great. It was great. It was a great game, and I was super excited for when this was coming out, and they said if you had gotten Beneath a Steel Sky on Steam, they would give you they'd not offer a chunk. They gave a discount for Beyond a Steel Sky. So yeah, I did that, and it's now sitting dutifully in my library like the rest of my games.
Beneath a Steel Sky, unfortunately, is one that I missed out on in the 90s. I didn't game a whole lot in the 90s on a computer. Mine was mostly console. That's what my dad owned, and my dad was a console gamer. So unfortunately, I missed this one. and it went completely under my radar because the story behind this, I was watching it, and I read some reviews, and I looked back at Beneath a Steel Sky, and this type of game is right up my alley. The art is beautiful, the storytelling is intriguing, and it's very intense, and I could honestly see myself picking up both games, honestly. Later on down the line. I've got a backlog as is, so the price I thought was a little on the pricey for me. I'm kind of poor, so I pick up games mostly when they're on sale. But if I had the money to spend, I would definitely pick it up full price. This does seem like a very, very well endowed game for its price. I like it. I would recommend it, especially if you're into heavy story like I am.
Yeah. I did hear, like, when it first came out, it was really buggy. Like, there were a few game-breaking bugs, so they had to, like work through quite a lot of it. But, yeah, I've heard, like, pretty good things about it. So, yeah, when I do eventually play it, I'll give my full review.
And
well, hopefully they've fixed those bugs. But if you've noticed, a lot of the games nowadays come out with a lot of bugs because they rushed the release, which unfortunately I think might have happened with this one.
Yeah.
Yep. The and if you're curious, the original game Beneath a Steel Sky is now free on Steam. So if you want to check out the sequel, the prequel, before checking out the sequel, you absolutely can. And it has very good reviews at 92%, whereas the sequel has a more conservative 85% right now. So, or 88% overall.
Yeah, with 588 user reviews. So,
But yeah, it's developed by RevSoft Games, Revolution Software, and they are based out of York, England. Next up, the question you never want to hear. We should talk.
That's not a question, that's a statement.
Oh, yeah, true it is. It's more of a statement, yeah.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. We Should Talk is a short-form narrative game that will make you think carefully about the words you choose. Can your relationship survive the night?
I feel like this game would give me anxiety because I hate texting.
I already have anxiety. I am one of those people that I tell you how it is and you like it or you don't, and I don't care. So this game, when I first saw it and when I first read it, I was like, yep, that's a game.
Yep. It's an interesting idea. It's just it's a very millennial type game where it's a game that's just so very modern in its pretext, in its sort of not pretext, in its setting. No, I'm not thinking the right word, but it just kind of very well feeds on the sort of day-to-day concerns that just modern society has when it comes to communication and learning how to communicate properly. It's a really clever idea.
This reminds me of Emily is Away and Emily is Away too.
Mm-hmm.
It goes kind of on there you're using like Messenger, and here you're using you're using your phone texting and everything. So yeah, very very similar kind of like premises. And it's I enjoyed Emily is Away to a point, but it's like the person that I was actually speaking to, I just thought they were dumb. Or the two people, I should say. It just annoyed me because they said it was like because you were trying to like make them feel better about something, and then you were just like telling you like about yourself or something like that, and they were like sort of straight edge, didn't drink or anything, and I was like, yeah, I don't drink. Glug, 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 glug. and then found out later, like, that you went out and you had a drink or whatever, and they was like, how can I trust anything you're ever going to say again? And I was like, glug, 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 glug. So that's what I would worry about. Like, if the person writing this has written the person you're talking to like an absolute idiot, like they just got upset over stupid little things, I just don't think, I could get like emotionally involved in that, or it really just, these really, really, really do count on how you've written these characters. Otherwise, you just think, why they said that? That's just stupid. It just makes no sense. Their motivations or something. You're thinking too much about that rather than what's actually going on.
Now, to be fair, there are people out there that think and react that way, so you can't get too mad about that.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. If you're dealing with multiple people here, at least so games like this require a very good understanding of just interpersonal relationships, and sometimes, like, this is something I have trouble when I've worked on writing characters. So they often just end up being different versions of myself, and it's like, oh, they're all the same person pretty much, and that for this type of game that doesn't work. So. But yeah, it looks neat. The 3D art is low poly, but has its own kind of self-style. It doesn't quite look... I can't think of something that looks, like a carbon copy of this. So, good aesthetic.
It certainly does have a type of charm with the graphics. I mean, it's not exactly ugly. It's not exactly pretty. But it certainly does carry a certain feel and charm to it for this type of...
Yeah.
It looks like the devs did just the right amount of work.
Yeah. It looks like it's about under 2 hours long, but someone said there's about 4 or 5 different endings.
So it's got a little bit of replayability to it, which isn't a bad, especially for the price.
Yeah, which is it is £5.19.
Yep, and that is $6.99 USD.
Standing at positive with 80%, with 30 user reviews.
Yep.
Not bad.
And coming up, we have our proper release list for this week, starting Monday, March 15th. And our first game is the lovely title, Outcasts of Orion.
Outcasts of Orion is a rogue-like auto-battler. Choose a hero, recruit allies, and take on the toughest baddies in the Orion sector. Tactically set up your units and then watch the battle. Unlock items, heroes, and artifacts to discover new synergies. Synergy!
So this is in that, in the relatively new, I mean, it's a few years old now, but the auto chess genre. It's got a nice. This is a case where it's minimalist, but maybe a little too minimalist. Yeah, I feel like the characters and the backgrounds don't quite match.
Yeah, there's I feel like a lot of work has been put on the characters and not so much the backgrounds. There's a bit like nothing going on with the backgrounds.
Yeah, they're serviceable, but just serviceable. So,
this seems like it might be like if they had done the proper work to it, this seems like it could have been a really good story driven, especially considering the background in which they were trying to do this. But it seems more to focus more on the battling and the card system and the whole put together. So it's more of a shoot 'em up than a story based game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for what they were going for, it seems like they wanted to go for story and then changed halfway through it. And the fact that all 8 people who reviewed this game left no sort of review, just comment, kind of makes me go, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a game. It's all right, yeah, and but it's not like, oh yes, I absolutely recommend this game. I had so much fun. Blah blah blah. There's no. It's just like,
Yeah,
It is on sale at the moment, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's pause reviews, but they're still tepidly positive. This has been developed by We Are Cats. And I think it is, it's their first game on Steam as well. We have a lot of debuts this week. But yeah, it's a roguelike, so they probably have a focus on the systems, but I don't know. I like my roguelikes to have underlying narrative, and the fact that none of the reviewers really brought up the narrative doesn't make it particularly attractive to me.
Yeah. It's 37% off right now. It's £3.64. Seeing different times on the reviews, someone's got like 35 hours, but mainly people have like 1 to 4 hours played on it. Yeah, it's like, wow, 35 hours. It's just like they loaded it up and left it on or something.
It's $5.03 USD. Which is certainly not an unreasonable price for a roguelike, but it's just missing something. We're missing something for me. But yeah, that is Outcasts of Orion, and our only game for Monday. Next up is Tuesday, March 16th, and it is Mundaun. I don't know how to pronounce this. Mundaun.
Is a lovingly hand-penciled horror tale set in a dark, secluded valley of the Alps. Explore various areas full of secrets to discover. Survive hostile encounters, drive vehicles, fill your inventory, and solve a variety of handcrafted puzzles.
Now, this game has aesthetic without being particularly pretty. So they've really got an aesthetic that's done just really well.
And now you say that isn't pretty. I find this absolutely beautiful. I know quite a few artists, and I know the work and detail that goes into this. And it's a certain genre because of the way that it's, or rather, it's arted because of the specific genre that it's in, which is a psychological horror. So it's not meant to be pretty. It's got that kind of spooky eeriness to it that it seems like the people who made the game wanted to go for. So it fits it really well. It's got that dark undertone to it, I was reading a little bit more in depth about the what they were going for about the story in the game, and it intrigued me. It did. It was like, wow, and it's very charming. And I was listening to it, and it's not native English, so you do have to turn on the subtitles.
It's Romanish. It's like, it's not in any of like the European languages. It's like a Latin sort of language, so they're supposed to understand it.
Yeah, they did mention that the people of the area had their own specific dialect. So it's like I couldn't pinpoint, because I know people who speak different languages, and I couldn't quite pinpoint what language they were speaking, and that's because of it. They didn't use a specific language for it, either that or they did use Latin.
They use Romanish.
Romansh, the Swiss language, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I don't know anybody who speaks that. So, but for what it is, it seems very, very intuitive for what they were going. And I personally think that this is a wonderful. I haven't played it yet, but this is a game that I pick up and play. And I'm, along with story, I'm a little bit of a horror buff myself. So this is one that I could see playing, and if I could get a heart monitor, I'd for sure put that on and just have fun and go ham.
Yeah, it's the way they've done it. The art, it's definitely fits the mood, the setting, the creepiness, and it's it's very different from the bog standard kind of first person horror game that you see now, where it's like it's too dark and you've got a torch everywhere. It's so yeah, this is one I'm very curious about, and I would love to see like someone pick this up and play it, because it just looks so different, and just a really interesting story and very atmospheric, and yeah, just really good. And they've really thought about everything, and especially with putting in a language that not many people are going to speak, so you really are going into like a village where it's like isolated. You have that sort of feeling of isolation from like everywhere else. So yeah, it's really good.
It's like that game Magica, the language that all the guys spoke. It was like a form of Frisian, so like very few people spoke it. So a lot of people thought it was like Simlish, and it's like no, that's Frisian. So it's really cool to do that, and kind of I was just watching a documentary on the Romansh language just this week. Just happened to be. It was just like, oh, that's interesting. Because when I was listening to this, I didn't realize that it was Romansh. But sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that's about 3 to 4 hours. It looks like, or 4 to 5 hours. The gameplay I'm seeing some people popped up. But sorry, you were going to say?
Oh yeah, but it really does capture sort of the best look of. They're very intentionally retro kind of in their feel, so it has like the best look of like PS1 or PS2 kind of. But it's. I feel like you still couldn't run a game like this on PS1 or PS2 because the lighting is too good. but this sort of 3D, I never thought that 3D retro would become such a thing that it is now. I can understand pixel art retro because it's it's just so it looks very complete, whereas 3D retro, it just keeps getting better and better and better. But this sort of 3D retro, it kind of goes like, what, these old 3D games, they weren't just triangles. There was kind of, we can do a lot with it, and they really did a lot with it here.
It's £15.49, and it's standing at 94% positive with 74 user reviews.
And it is $19.99 USD. The developers are Hidden Fields, and they are based out of Luzern, Switzerland. So, and they were founded in 2017. They've worked on a bunch of like little games, mobile games and stuff. This is their first big game, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is their first big game.
It seems they're doing well for themselves, especially with the reviews. So I look forward to seeing what they can do in the future.
Next up, by Israeli solo dev Idan Ruz, is Press Control.
A mind-bending puzzler where your avatar controls another avatar via an in-game keyboard. I just thought this was like a cute little game, and it was just like, although we're seeing like the first level, I really wish they'd showed like a couple of more of the other levels that was going on, just to see what kind of differences they're going to have in the different levels that they've got. Because it's how many levels were there? I think there was quite a few.
Let me see. 4 deceptively simple levels of increasing difficulty.
Okay.
So
the run time for the reviews is anywhere between 0.3 to maybe 2. So it really depends on your control, memory, and your kind of OCD to it.
Yeah. Oh, I think your audio gate on Discord has gotten a little too aggressive. That if it's auto adjusting it'll do that, so it's cutting off like the end of your words.
Oh well, I've been speaking a little lowly. I apologize. That's my fault.
Oh no. Okay. Right. So with this game, so the developer self-describes himself as a solo dev of annoying games. In his words. That's his words. So.
Oh, that's very accurate.
As somebody who has OCD, ADHD, and ADD, This is a game that could not hold my attention, unfortunately, and I can see myself getting very frustrated with this game. That's not to say that it wouldn't be fun, but I don't know if I want to put myself through that level of anxiety and aggression just to play it 4 levels.
Yeah, I think it's like a cute little kind of demo sort of thing, and it's like nice that it's so short, like it's an hour, like 30 minutes to like an hour and a bit or something. But and it's £1.69. I wish it was just sort of like it was under £1. I would have thought that was fair, because it's if you're really great at this sort of game and you can finish it in half an hour, I think that's £1.60 might be a little bit too much.
It's $1.99 USD. I think it's probably set there because otherwise they can't put it on sale and make any money off of it. I think $1.99 is often the minimum we see because of that.
We've seen like ones under $1.
Yeah. But I think like being able to put it on like a half off sale to sort of promote it would. That's probably why it's at $1.99. But it is very short. Idan Ruse does have a ton of other games if you look up his website. But this is his first one that's on Steam.
No, I did have an issue. No, it's okay. I did have a price issue with this one. And it's not for the reason that you think. I don't think it's too expensive. I don't think it's too cheap either. I think the price is just right. I just wish that the developer had put in some more levels, because a lot of the timestamps that I'm seeing for the people who left these reviews, it's one of those games that if you pick it up and the runtime is under 2 hours, you can refund it.
Yeah.
So I can see people picking this up, playing through it really quickly, and then funding it, which really isn't fair to the developer. So that's the issue I have with it. It's yes, it's a short game. Yes, it's a cheap game, but the developer is kind of losing money, and it probably does have replay level for like speedrun and stuff. But still, even then, for a game like this of this quality for the price, it just
it's with that, I think you kind of just have to trust the players, to be honest.
It's starting at 96% positive with 25 user reviews, and there is that problem with it, because I've played like some narrative games that have been like 15 minutes, and I had like fun with that 15 minutes. I didn't then obviously ask for a refund, but there are always people trying to game the system, aren't there? There are always people trying to trying to keep their money. So that's always a problem, always an issue.
Which, sometimes for really short games, itch.io sometimes seems like a more sensible place to put it. Sometimes. All right, Wednesday, March 17th, next up is Red Ronin.
Red Ronin is a turn-based but fast-paced dash-and-slash game where a bloodthirsty Ronin and her companion bots search for revenge.
So this is kind of, the developer sort of just self-described it as, no, it wasn't the developer, I think it was someone who reviewed it, was basically that it's like Katana Zero but turn-based, was kind of what it's going for.
When I saw the footage and I read the review, I thought it was more like of a Hotline Miami type of game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I happen to enjoy watching people play Hotline Miami. It's a good game. It's a good story game, but it's just not one that's in my wheelhouse. The same with this one. This one seems like it's got a great story-based game, and it seems like a great game in general. It's just not in my wheelhouse to play. But when I was watching this and reading the reviews and stuff, I got a Hotline Miami rather than
Katana Zero. Yeah,
Katana Zero.
Oh.
But I can see where they got that too.
Yeah,
with the hack and slash.
I do like that it's turn-based because I think that makes it a lot more accessible for someone like me. Right.
I like the cutscenes as well. They've put a lot of work into the pixel art and everything, and it looks really nice. There's some inconsistencies, like with seeing one of the panels on the outside, looking on the outside of the Grand Hotel. It's not looking so great, but the fight sequences and the cutscenes, they're fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and this is all by a solo dev too. Well, no, so I wasn't able to confirm solo dev, but the designer, the solo designer and such is Tiago Oliveira. He's from San Luis, Brazil. I've been trying to look it up, but I think he did get some art help. But I've not been able to find too much information on him. But he didn't claim to be a solo dev, so I'm not going to say he was a solo dev. But he was the founder of Wired Dream Studio.
Okay. It's 5 hours, and it is £4.92. It's 15% off right now. And it's standing out at 100% positive with 14 user reviews.
It's not bad. And it's $6.79 currently on sale, 15% off USD. Just looks great. I actually kind of want to put this on my wish list. All right. Next up, in a similarly grim fashion, is Adios.
A pig farmer decides he no longer wants to dispose of bodies for the mob. What follows is a discussion between him and his would-be killer. I've seen I've seen this game doing the rounds with a lot of review magazines or online magazines and YouTube reviewers. So yeah, it's a really interesting premise, although I don't think there's an awful lot of gameplay involved, but it's this very interesting narrative that's going on. I mean, you can go fishing. Mm-hmm. And
you can milk goats too, apparently.
but yeah, it's it's one of those nice slow sort of narratives, and that makes you think.
Mm-hmm.
I like.
So it's a slightly more interactive walking sim. Probably would be a good way to describe it, which I guess kind of makes it not a walking sim, but it's a walking sim with some gameplay elements. But
this is something that definitely piqued my interest when I saw it, and it's definitely going on because the story that it tells is not one that you would, and it kind of makes me wonder if the devs for this actually did research and maybe talk to somebody who might have been in the field for this, or if this is all based on what they thought would happen in that type of situation. And it's really intriguing. It's one of those that as you're playing it and after you're playing, to me, it seems like you would sit back after finishing it and just go, wow. And just make you stop and think about the world around you.
I wonder if it's a reference to, there was a situation of kind of similar with a pig farm in Ontario, just across the border with Michigan, that happened when I was a kid. So I do kind of wonder if this is making a reference to that, although I don't think that guy was connected with the mob. So,
and they may have pulled elements from different stories like that too. Mm-hmm. Which is why it makes me wonder if maybe it's not based on real life situation, whether it be one situation or many.
Yeah. The developer is Mischief, and they are located in Kansas. So, just a small town in Kansas. Cool.
This is just under 2 hours long, and it's at £13.99, and it's standing at 96% positive with 160 users.
$17.99 USD, which that's pretty steep for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a branching narrative? Let me see.
Not sure.
I think it implies it because how you respond will determine the rest of your life. I think that implies there's multiple endings, but I'm not sure.
And the fact that in the description it says would be killer, which kind of makes you think that you could be killed or talk your way out of it.
Yeah.
There are multiple endings.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
So it's got replay value. So that might be a little more towards that price. I still don't know if 18 is the right price for it. Maybe 12 to 15 would be better. But, it bumps it because it's got that replay value. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a completionist and you want all the endings.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that it's kind of the only thing that is different is kind of like sort of the ending.
So it only branches basically the end.
Yeah, so it's like if there's not much like difference going on, it's like it doesn't have to me anyway. I don't feel it has that much replay value because it's like just the ending. If you can save it before you make that last sort of like last decision. But I've heard like what you play it for is like sort of the little things you do in between. It's like because it's kind of like relaxing, like when you go fishing and you do all these sort of like day-to-day chores and just really enjoying the landscape and sort of taking stock of like your life kind of thing. So I think that's where it really like shines.
Okay. From Thursday, March 18th is Pile Up Box by Box.
Pile Up ticks all the right boxes as a family-friendly cooperative 3D platformer. Jump up, slide down, play together, and carry the load. It's a cooperative one, which, let me see, it looks like this is shared split screen, so it's not online co-op, so it's a couch co-op. Which, it does claim to have single player, so I am kind of curious how the single player works. Do you just kind of like swap between boxes?
That seems to be the general consensus of it.
Okay.
Now, the shared split screen nowadays doesn't necessarily mean couch co-op. It's just most people think couch co-op with stuff like that. I'm sure there's a way that you do online co-op through maybe a mod or that, because it does have remote play together.
Yeah, so remote play together works sometimes, but I haven't tried it where I live now. But at least where I lived before, even though I had pretty good internet, for most games, it's just not fast enough. Certain games, like trivia games, work fine. There's certain games that work pretty well, but some, like a platformer, I don't know if it would have low enough latency. So, yeah, I don't super trust remote play together, at least not yet. It has been improving, though. So maybe soon.
It's very cute otherwise. I love the
cute
art style. It's simple yet descriptive in the world around it, and it kind of reminds me of a Paper Mario.
Yeah, kinda. It's
not
very
exactly,
cute.
But it's kind of got that art style. Or maybe even a Yoshi's World. The yarn Yoshi's stuff like.
It is super cute, and I like the little details in the world. The art style of it. There's like little critters as well, like just running around, and I just love that. So yeah, really, really nice backgrounds. Even though the characters are boxes, they're done really well. They made them like somehow made them interesting to look at, and yeah, this just really, really come together really nicely.
And it also has a bunch of different mini games and game modes, which is sort of a thing that was completely unnecessary, but the developers did it anyway. And I think that kind of increases the value prospect to it, the fact that there's multiple different game modes and stuff. So
not to mention there is some customization you can do with the boxes. So you can kind of create your own little look and feel to your little box character, which just adds to the charm.
Yeah.
itself.
It's that sort of unnecessary development that kind of divides the okay games with the like really memorable, interesting games. Is when they just kind of go the extra mile in some areas. So that is cool. It is developed by Seed, which is a small studio from Agoulême, France. And they are normally a studio for hire. So they've done a bunch of work for other larger companies, either doing art or animation for them, etc. This is their first game on Steam that it's just them. So every now and then we get to see studios for hire kind of branch out into doing their own thing. I always think it's very cool because they're typically a really skilled team, and so often they just kind of blast out just full speed with their first title. Unfortunately, this hasn't gotten much notice. It only has 9 reviews so far.
Oh, it's 10% off right now at £11.69. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not gotten enough user reviews to bring up a score.
Yep.
I think this is another one of those games that would probably sell better if they had like a bundle type deal where you could buy multiple for you and friends. Because I'm sorry, and I'm going to take this from you, Dewey, but it's $13.49 with 10% off, normally $15 or $14.99. And again, that seems a little high for just one person, but at the same time, it's not just a party game. It does have a story element, so you can do a single player. So the price is kind of, for me, it's kind of like that very, very, very seesaw where it could be a little cheaper, still be the value, and would probably do better if you put it in a bundle as well so that you could have your friends as well.
Yeah.
And with couch co-op, you only need one copy. But you have to have in-person friends.
With COVID, that's a little bit hard at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, next up, Rogue State Revolution.
Greetings, Your Excellency. Time to rebuild, reform, and prepare for new challenges in the People's Republic of Bazenji?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what this. Sorry, Bazenji? I'm not sure what the country is, but that's where it is. In this thrilling political strategy, you will appoint ministers and lead the country to success. Be careful, you may find yourself replaced in the next election.
I think it's vaguely North African is kind of the setting. It's like a fictional North African country. But yeah, I like the UI. The UI is quite clean. I'm not so sure about the overworld. But the idea of this sort of like you have the turn-based strategy, but then you also have the whole political machinations you have to figure out. It's an interesting combination.
So I just looked it up, and it's a dog breed.
oh yeah, Basenji, yeah.
Yeah, Basenji is a dog. So I thought that was kind of cute because it's And I wonder how they're going to tie in like the because I kind of feel because it's a hunting breed dog.
Yeah, and if they don't link it in, that's a missed opportunity.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking too.
I have to agree with you, Drew. The maps and everything. I'm not they don't look like super. Great, super interesting, but the cards, the pictures, that's all really very nice, very nicely done. It's a shame they couldn't make the maps interesting as well.
Yeah, the art style for the cutscenes as well is absolutely beautifully done. It reminds me kind of some of the cartoons that you used to see in the 90s, like Batman Beyond and Justice League and stuff like that, which is kind of nostalgia for me, and it's got a really nice clean crispness to it as far as the art style goes, and it's a pretty game in that aspect. But yeah, I think they could have done more with the whole map scene.
Oh, the emblem for
I saw it. I just saw it. They actually did put reference. They used the little mugshot for the or the face stylization for it seems like their government kind of like the FBI emblem and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
Oh, that's cool.
That was cute.
It's 10% off right now at £9.89, and it's starting out very positive with 84%, 84% positive with 63 user reviews.
And it looks like in the game they've got some screens that they actually have like a photograph, like they actually have like actors that they just not actors because models. They actually have like live models for the different characters you're not into.
Oh, there are FMV cutscenes.
Oh, there are full FMV cutscenes. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's going to be like a Command and Conquer type deal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. Okay, that is really neat. Yeah.
I think a big positive to this as well is there's a demo.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually play the demo and decide whether or not it's going to be a game for you before you pick it up. I think that's a really good plus and a really good positive, and I wish some of the newer games coming out would do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, definitely more should be doing it, but it doesn't make sense for some really small games, but yeah, for a lot of these games, especially if you're asking more than $10, a demo can really help seal the deal.
Especially considering it looks like it's still in a beta.
Yeah, it's I'm seeing a lot of the people that have put negatives. They're saying that this game like lacks some polish. There's balancing issues. It's a very punishing game. It has cutscenes that you can't skip. The units move too slow and can't be skipped, and military units can get stuck as well.
Now,
so there's a few bugs that need ironing out for sure.
No, to be fair, a game like this should be a little on the punishing side, especially if you're moving from a dictatorship to a democracy, which seems to be maybe the case in this. It seems like the country used to be a kind of like a Cuban style dictatorship, and then moving to a democracy. You're going to have those issues, and it is going to be a punishing game because little slip up. So,
and the studio is LRD Games. They're based out of New York, USA, and so this Rogue State, it does have a prequel, the original Rogue State game, which came out in 2015. So this studio's been around for a while. And you know how I was criticizing the look of this game? The old game Rogue State looks pretty crunchy. So real kudos on the improvements.
This is 10% off right now at £9.89. I think I said how it was 84% positive, 63 user reviews.
Yep.
Sorry.
$13.49 USD. Next up is Neurodeck Psychological Deck Builder.
Neurodeck is a psychological deck building card game to challenge your fears. Build your deck and capacities by answering personality tests, visiting rooms, or meditating. Face your phobia and defeat them through the power of life-inspired cards.
So I've seen this is kind of mixed, and some of the, not a lot of it is necessarily about directly the mechanics, etc. But some of the design seems a little odd, as there's some of the cards are very well done and accurate, like they're kind of well researched as far as, this is a treatment for this disease, this disorder, or this can aggravate this disorder, etc. But then there's other things that just do not make sense at all. It's like, wait, how does back pain relieve this? Like, what? How does back pain relieve anything, any psychological disorder?
Well, they say that pain is a great distraction.
Maybe. So there are some just really odd stuff in here, and some folks also seem to not like just how certain disorders are really interestingly presented, and it's like, oh, that's really accurate, and others are like, that's kind of more of a stereotype and not actually what the symptoms of the disorder involve. So some folks are like, if you're trying to be more kind of this is sort of an educational, maybe be a bit more clinical about some of the stuff that you're presenting. So. Oh, and also another thing, it doesn't have this. This is kind of like there's a lot of comparisons to Slay the Spire, and one of the things I saw is that just you can kind of figure this game out pretty quickly, and so it doesn't have as much of a gameplay longevity to it. Yeah, so.
Yeah, this is a shame because this looks very nice, like the art style and everything. But as you say, it's got all those problems, and yeah, it's because it's a shame that they put a lot of effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
Along with those, there seems to be a little bit of confusion because you can pick up a edition, quarter edition, and I've looked at it, and I was telling you earlier, I looked at it for a good half an hour trying to determine the difference between the two supporter bundles. There is none. And it was 10 and 20% off, but they've bumped that to 28, 19% off. But it's like, why? It's the same bundle. It is. Everything is the same. There's nothing different. So why do you have two different sales? And that kind of confused me. And then Dewey brought up a comment, and it made a lot of sense. And, I'll let you. I'll let
oh
you
yeah. How there might be. I've seen it before where there's so these are both supporter bundles, but I've seen it before where you just have one that's slightly more expensive because you want to support them, but normally that would have a note like, oh, like especially for a really cheap game, like it's being sold for $2, like one of the previous games we looked at, they might have a $15 supporter edition just to be like, hey, you want to give the dev a couple cups of coffee kind of thing. That's not here. It's just two supporter bundles that are differently priced. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's just a weird way of going about it. Yeah.
It's so strange. I don't understand. I've never seen exactly this before. It's very odd.
It seems like if they could have done a little more research, this would have been a very good and very intriguing, especially with the with some of the treatments and some of the awareness to some of these symptoms and syndromes and stuff. It seems like maybe instead of doing proper research, they rushed it a little bit and just general research, asked a couple of questions, didn't really get to sorry, I got distracted, and get a little more in depth some of the stuff, because there are other games similar to this out there that focus on the on some of these mental conditions, stuff like that, and I think it could have been a really good game in that aspect if they had done more of research into the science behind it.
Yeah, because which is a shame because the artwork's so great. You can tell they've put.
Yeah,
I think that's where the focus has been, is just to make it look really good, and everything else has been.
So I was thinking that perhaps, so this is a French company, I was perhaps like, maybe some of the cards don't make sense because it's been translated from French, and maybe just some of some words just don't translate well from French. But then I also was looking, and like, there's also negative reviews in French. So I'm like, maybe that's not the case. So yeah, it's an odd one, but it is really attractive, and hopefully they take all the feedback they're getting, and they do additional updates, so they are actually requesting suggestions for Neurodecks, like update suggestions. So they are actively seeking feedback, which is quite respectable of them.
I think one suggestion I would put in there is seek out an actual psychologist and to get some of your information and accuracy right, because again, if some of the symptoms that you're presenting are stereotypic, that's not a good thing.
No.
All right. It's off right now at £9.89. That's the non-supporter edition. And it's standing at mixed reviews right now, with 56% positive, with 57 user reviews.
Yep, and that's $12.59 USD. Coming up next is Magellania.
Defeat your enemies with the power of love, friendship, and power of love, friendship, and violent military aggression. A hardcore tactics RPG set in outer space.
When I first read the description, I looked at it and I had to do a double and even a triple rating. Go, love, friendship, and military aggression. Excuse me.
No.
I happen to be a veteran, and none of those words go well together at all, ever. In any case,
all's fair in love and war, I guess.
I mean, that is one thing, but usually you don't find them together. The art style is kind of cute. It's kind of cute. It's got a bit of a pixely feel to it, and then you've got the hand-drawn characters that pop up. But as far as it seems kind of like a tactics type game, which really isn't up my alley. But other than that, it's very intriguing, very cute styled.
I'm not too keen on the character designs. When it's up close, when it's got the portraits, I quite like that, but the actual character designs on the board, I'm not a big fan of.
It's kind of hard to tell which character is which.
Yeah, because they've just got this one sort of color, and it's when they're all on the board, it's very difficult to distinguish between them.
Yeah, you can definitely zoom out quite a lot on this board, which makes me wonder how big some of these battles get. Let me see, because you can zoom out quite a way, and once you zoom out, there's very little detail. So some sort of change in the design to the pixel art might help stuff stand out better. But I'm trying to look. I don't see anything about how many levels. So how long? Oh, so there's some long hours in here, between like 24 and 16 hours I'm seeing for playtime.
It's also in early access, which means that it will be getting updates and polishes and stuff like that. Or at least it was in early access when the reviews, or at least most of the reviews are done. And it's kind of a shame because it's only got 5 reviews. And 4 of the 5 are in early access reviews. And there's not a whole lot of detail with those, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, it's sort of been overlooked. Studio Land, I believe this is their debut onto Steam. So just if this seems up your alley, check it out. There's been a wealth of tactics games coming out on Steam. So this is yet another one to see if it's up your alley.
It's 40% off right now, so it's a considerable discount at £4.31. And only 5 user reviews. Yep,
and that is $5.99. Next up, Derelict Void by Sterling Games.
Sorry. Derelict Void is a space survival game involving scavenging for resources and base management. You command a ship and a crew searching for resources you need to stay alive.
It's quite sort of the very somber. I like the sort of somber setting they're setting up, because basically what happened is your ships are on a trip, and somehow I guess they just get sent off to the wrong side of the galaxy, enter a wormhole or something or other, and you're all stranded, and you're just like, oh no, we're in the middle of a void. The only way we can survive is the wreckage of all these other ships, where all these other people that we knew died and such. So it's a race to scavenge, and it's really interesting, like grim space story.
I like and I don't like these games because it's like it's almost like you're heading towards a fail state sort of thing. It's just like, how long can you hang on for? So it always, like, you know, kind of leaves me depressed afterwards. It's like, well, I lasted 7 days.
So those who like hardcore strategy games where your chance of survival is pretty low, this has a lot of replay value to it. You know, it's great in that aspect. It seems like it's got a pretty in-depth story that you could read into with character stuff. Again, this isn't up my alley. I'm not really great with strategy-based games or resource management games, so I would not be playing this, but I could see myself sitting down and watching somebody else and, you know, getting a thrill off of their frustration or their success if they happen to be really good at it.
Yeah. This is why I like to stream permadeath Torchlight. So I'm playing it, and for the most part, it's like, okay, I'm fine. And then it happens like 9 hours in. I just made some silly mistake, and it's like, just the look of devastation on my face. It's very worth it to folks watching me stream. Just like, yes, look at that total look of despair. How entertaining. All right, but yeah, that is Derelict Void. It is $17.99 USD.
Yeah, 10% off right now at £13.94. Unfortunately, it's only got 8 user reviews so far.
And it is Sterling Games' debut on Steam. Next up, by Polish studio Rejected Games, Mr. Prepper.
Mr. Prepper is about being prepared. You know something is wrong. The risk of a nuclear war is in the air, and you need to get ready for what's coming.
Yep.
Now, I was really intrigued with this game, and I got to admit, I saw a slight playthrough of it on YouTube before I knew it was on the list. So I got to see a little more in depth from that, and it's a doomsday prep game. And it's got some really silly, funny elements to it, but it's also one of those that it can punish you, and it will punish you if you don't get what you need in time, or if you happen to, in some cases, leave your stuff out in the open. Because one of the elements is you have an inspector who comes by every once in a while, and if you have something that you're not supposed to, or too much of a thing, or if you're missing something that you should have, you can get in a lot of trouble, and that can lead to an. So this has a lot of replay value to it. It seems like there are many different paths you can go to it, ultimately diverging into one path for a win. But it's got a survival element to it. It's got some fighting elements to it. There are enemies that you do have to deal with. You do have to survive and kill certain stuff like that. There's even a resource gathering in the game, and as I said in the last one, I'm not great on resource management, but this is kind of like one of those Minecrafty type things where you gather elements, you craft stuff like that, and that I'm a little better with. But I think this game could and might do well. There's a lot of positive reviews, and overall, it seems like a very fun game.
Oh, it reminds me of the Fallout shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's except, you know, you're not just sending a random person off into the desert to see if they come back with anything good. But no, you've got to go out and do it yourself. So yeah, it's really, really interesting, and I'm not sure. Again, it's not something that I'd personally pick up, but it seems like this one has been done very well. It looks like there's a nice, interesting elements. There's a lot of different kinds of gameplay to keep you busy with.
Yeah. It looks really fun. I just kind of wish poor Mr. Prepper, he's all alone. I would almost like it if he had kind of the family, because then you could have like different characters you could sort of micromanage and stuff.
To be fair, there are characters that you can interact with, and they give you quests and stuff. I don't know if you can save them and bring them with you. Bless you. I don't know if you can save them and bring them with you, but it does have a lot of character growth and interaction with those characters.
Okay, that's cool. It would be neat if you could have like additional characters, like because it just what's so fun about having like a delusion is you can get other people in on your delusion. Of course, it seems that the nukes were actually coming here, so who's the smart guy after all? So, exactly. But yeah, this is Rejected Games, a small studio. They were founded in 2012. And they've been working on Mr. Prepper for a while, so they had a prologue out in 2020. And of course they have for some reason I thought they had an upcoming release. Nope, I didn't. I was mistaken. But yes, so this is now out in its full glory for you to check out.
It's 30% off right now at £10.84, and it's standing at very positive with 82%. And there's 637 user reviews.
Yep, $17.99 USD, and judging by the sales numbers, I've got no place to criticize the price. So, next up, Can't Drive This by Pixel Maniacs.
Race your monster truck while your friend builds the road. Go too slow and you'll explode. And yes, it's as chaotic as it sounds, especially in 4-player split screen.
All right, that's really interesting. This does have online co-op, so it's an interesting idea, I guess. It's kind of like those dungeon games where you have one player being the dungeon master and then everyone else being the players. That's an interesting concept, I guess.
So from the video they posted, it looks like for the 4-player co-op, there are 2 people building and 2 people driving, and this is not a game you want to play with mean friends.
Yeah.
Depending on what the goal is, you do not want to play this with friends that you know are malicious and like to make. But otherwise, it seems very fun, very intriguing, and it almost seems like it's one of those games that's built on trust, on the trust system. Do you trust your friends enough to keep you alive?
Yeah.
And do you trust your friends enough to keep themselves alive on the course in which you decide to build?
Yeah. I'm curious what the win condition is. Like, so when the person is building, are they getting like a certain set of pieces that so they got 1 of 3. All right, choose this one. And it's like, choose this one. Like, what's the game element for the person making it? Or is it just kind of sandboxy? That's something I'm kind of curious about. Yeah. So, because it could be fun just as a sort of sandbox thing, but is there like a specific goal? Like, you need to put this type of variety of pieces in for, the person building it. I do wonder. But there are... so there is a single player mode if you don't have any friends. And there's customization, so you can do like vehicle customization and give yourself your own sort of personal flair, which is also neat. But yeah, I'm very curious. I kind of want to watch some streams of this game to see exactly how it works, because I'm already thinking of many different ways that this could be done really interestingly.
Yeah, so like you said, what's the motivation for the person building the track to like not just want to mess it up for you, or is it good to actually mess it up for somebody? But I'm seeing like because this has just come out of early access. Seeing like it's okay. It's a nice concept, but the execution of it is not that great, which is a shame. I don't know if they like patching it further and improving on certain things, but it does look great though. I have to say, it does look like a lot of fun, and it is currently with the latest reviews, and there's there's 16 user reviews that I've posted in the last 30 days, or the last weeks, I should say, and it's standing at 100% positive for those.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's standing at 80% positive with 153 user reviews.
And
So
looking at some of the negative reviews, some of the reviews that they're giving are accurate, so it's not like they're over exaggerating. There is one that confused me. It's a positive review, but the comment says can't play this for more than 20 minutes.
Right.
Maybe it's just like it's a short session kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. So yeah, Can't Drive Us. It's 6 devs, Pixel Maniacs, which are based out of Nuremberg, Germany. So these 6 devs all met during a Ludum Dare back in 2004, which was one of those, like, basically it's a game jam thing, but I think it's done online, so you basically connect online. It's like, oh, we all work together sort of thing. And that's how their team ended up getting formed, and they've stuck together ever since. So, cool thing. They have other games like Chroma Gun on Steam, and then they've got some other games on other platforms that they've made before this. So, yep. And it's $16.99 USD. Next up is QV.
Start dimension jumping adventure with QB.
Yep. So, this is by developer Izzle, which known as JKH41490832 on Twitter, and he is a developer from Seoul, South Korea.
When I first saw this game, this is right up my alley. I love Portal. In fact, in April, I plan on doing a Portal marathon with some mods added onto it. And this reminded me of a cute anime-style Portal.
Mm-hmm.
It is super cute. I love the design of the character. I love the world that she's exploring in as well, and the puzzles seem to be like nicely designed. It looks really polished and visually just like quite stunning. And yeah, it's one that, you know, you could easily like just watch someone play if you weren't into it yourself. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, and with Portal, I gotta send you the mod. I don't remember the name right now, but there's a fantastic mod that you need to check out by a Polish team. So it's on Steam.
Send it my way.
Yeah. It's on Steam and it's free, so it's really good. Alrighty. But yeah, this looks really nice. It's got a sweet aesthetic. It's kind of soft, that sort of soft lighting, but not to a degree that's a glowy and annoying. So not bad. Also, the penguin is cute.
It's 20% off right now at £9 and 3p, and it's starting at positive with 94% positive and 19 user reviews.
Mm-hmm. Next up, $11.99 USD. Next up is Dogworld.
Shoot, jump, and slide your way through a ruined, mysterious, dog-filled world as you fight to save humanity from the clutches of rogue AI named Daddy.
Rogue AI named Daddy. Okay.
Oh boy.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I do like it's got good animation and action. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic, but I know people who like this kind of look, but it's just not me. But it's kind of neat. It looks like you have dog allies, but then also dog alien enemies, and there's robots you're also fighting. So, really, really creative.
Yeah, I have to agree with the aesthetic. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it does look a bit interesting, and it's nice that, you know, you've got dog friends and dog enemies, and it's like there's some cute doggies in there, which I think like. It is 15% off right now at £9.68. It's 97% positive with 35 user reviews. I'm just wondering, it says you can pet the dogs, so that's always important. Just seeing how long it is.
Now while you're checking out the times, I actually liked this stuff, and I saw a game similar to years back that you might or might not have heard of called Gato Roboto.
Yes, Gato Roboto. We talked about that one.
So this reminds me of that game style and that aesthetic to it. It's kind of a Metroidvania, which I personally enjoyed. It seems like it's going to be a cute game. It's going to be story driven, and the whole daddy issue with the AI. There's just so much room. For me, I run a mature audience stream, so for me, that seems like a lot of commentary fun for me to interact with in my chat and make fun of. So I this is going on my wish list. It seems like it's going to be a really great game. But I find it intriguing.
Yep, the jokes write themselves.
You do.
So it's about 5 to 8 hours. So it's not bad.
Not bad. And it's $12.74 right now with 15% off. The developer Lateralis is a solo dev located in Idaho. Not a lot of games from Idaho, so it's always cool to see another studio. Well, we also had a game from a Kansas developer today too. Yes. So, yeah.
To be fair, not a lot comes out of Ohio besides potatoes. So.
Next up, Friday, March 19th, is Fate of Kai.
Fate of Kai is a new kind of adventure. Explore different storylines, solve complex puzzles, travel through time, and manipulate character ideas to help Kai reach the castle. The game is set in a magical illustrated book, which we'll have to master to reach the end of the story.
So this is sort of like, it's basically choose your own adventure sort of thing, and I like the artwork. It actually kind of reminds me of some webcomics that I've read. One of them, I don't know, something about the aesthetic is reminding me of, I don't remember the name. Never mind. I can't remember the name. But there's a particular webcomic that this kind of looks like, although that webcomic is more for a bit more of a mature audience. Whereas this one seems a bit not quite that way. But it's a similar art style. It's really nice.
I love how story-based it is, and the fact that you can go in different branches to get to the ending that you to get to, and that there are right and wrong answers to some of these puzzles and challenges as well. This is one of those games that's right up my alley. It's on the wish list as soon as I saw it, and it's like, yep, this has multiple replay value. It's got a very, very intriguing art style to it. It's not one that you see very often unless you're into the comic type things. And overall, it almost seems like it has a niche following to, or that it would have a niche following to it, but I think this is one of those games where if you give it a shot, it's really going to grow on you.
Yeah, I really like I really love the art style. I like that you're changing like the panels and as you would in a comic, you're like switching some out to try and make the story kind of like make sense. So or if you're choosing your
choose your own adventure.
You're choosing your own adventure. It reminds me of that that puzzle game where you have to make people move, or you're a spy and you have to like move across the panels and you have to like change the way the comic in the panels run to make sure that they can get to the end. It reminds me a bit of that. But yeah, this is right up my alley. I'm seeing though, like, at least if you're doing like one playthrough or something, I'm seeing like anything from 1 to 2 hours. So it is a short experience. It's £9.29. It's starting out at 100% positive with 38 user reviews.
Yep, $11.99 USD. And this is developed by a studio founded by Tomas Lacerra. And he is based out of Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Buenos Aires. Not Buenos Aires.
No. For this game, for that price, because of the replay value and because of the storyline, I think it is. $12 isn't a whole lot to spend, especially if you can play the game again. And it seems like it might have some speedrun as well.
There's also 160 pages. 160 was it panels or pages? There's 700 panels, 160 pages. So, and some of these panels seem to swap out with each other depending on what decision you make. So, but at least 160 pages. That's a 160 page comic book is a decently sized comic book. So, yeah.
Not that thick.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And our final title of the week is Doctor Who: The Lonely Assassins.
Uncover the dark secrets of Wester Drumlings and confront a new evil in a thrilling found phone mystery from the award-winning creators of Sarah is Missing and Simulacra. I have that game, Simulacra, and the sequel to that as well. I haven't played it. It is on my back burner of games to play. But this sort of like missing phone kind of game it intrigues me. I have played a game called Missing Phone, and it's like very, you're going through someone's phone and you're trying to like help get the phone back to this person, and it's like you're seeing snippets of their life. So I'm wondering like how they're, obviously this is set in the Doctor Who universe. I'm wondering how they're going to manage this. It looks interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Doctor Who fan. That's not to say that's just not something, and which surprises a lot of people when I say I'm not a fan of Doctor Who. That being said, this is a game I could see myself playing and enjoying, like a lot, because this puzzle adventure. I love puzzle adventures, and the whole missing phone thing is intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I haven't played any games like that yet, but I think this is one that I could definitely see myself enjoying quite immensely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going on the wish list. Would I pick it up for the full price? Maybe. It is definitely a game worth the price. It is currently on sale at the moment, but other than being a genre that I'm not really interested in, I can't say anything bad about it. And even being a genre I'm not interested in, I can't say anything bad about it. It just seems like it'd be a really good game.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like 2.5 to 5 hours of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like 25% off right now. So it's £4.49. So it seems like a nice price to pick this up.
Yeah, no, just a few quid. That's not bad. And yeah, $4.49 US.
It's 95% positive with 141 user reviews.
Mm-hmm. And Kaigan Games, yeah, of course they did Simulacra. They also did Dead. Is that a bundle? Yeah, they did Dead Spooky, but I had to enter my age to enter in, so I'm not sure if it's going to be okay for Twitch. So I'll just let that lie. But yeah, Doctor Who: The Lonely Assassins. And yeah, that is the week of releases, and of course now we come to the difficult question of best of the week. So chat, let us know what your best of the week was, and of course we're gonna ask the question. So who's ready?
I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready. Yep. I'm gonna pick one from the catch-up list and like one from the main list. Beyond a Steel Sky. I already have that anyway, definitely. But I'm curious about We Should Talk. That's I'm just curious to like how the characters have been written and whether I would get annoyed with if someone would be like silly drama or if it was like very well written drama. I would like to know that. And in the main list, I've picked Fate of Kai because that's just I just love the artwork. I love the like the changing panels and everything like that. And yeah, if there is a lot of different things that you can actually put to make your character do different things, like choose your own adventure, that would be really great. I've not seen a lot of like games recently that do very good choose your own adventure. They're not very choose your own adventure like, but yeah, I would like to see like a good one done if that is this game. I did also put Doctor Who on there because that seems like an interesting game.
All right, and Kitty, what was your favorite of the week?
So out of the Catchup list, I would have to agree Beyond a Steel Sky. It's just something that seems just absolutely wonderful, and I'm going to have to go back and look at the sequel or the prequel as well. And honestly, it's done by a really good studio. It's very story driven. It's strong story as well. So that one's definitely on the list of bests for me. Out of the main, I've actually got it down to 2. That's going to be Fate of Kai. Again, it's very story driven, and as was mentioned, there's not a lot of storybook choose your own adventures that are good choose your own adventures. So I'm hoping this is, a break from the norm in that aspect. And QV, I am very much looking forward to getting and playing QV. Simply because I'm a big Portal fan, and it's cute, it's anime, and I like anime, and I think I'm going to love this.
All right, and for mine, from the Catchup list, I think my favorite would be Radical Rabbit Stew. It just, the pixel art, I'm an addict to pixel art. It's really easy. And of course, Godless Weeb is saying Red Ronin, which I actually have to say that is also what my game of the week is for releases, is Red Ronin. That is my game of the week, absolutely. So, yeah, Red Ronin, just because I like these sort of turn-based games, because I'm not a super twitchy player, so there's a lot of action games I just really can't play, like Black Desert. I love Black Desert, but I can never play it well because I just do not have that reaction time. And sort of a more relaxed turn-based game, I'm really into that. So, Red Ronin. And with that, before we say our farewells, our guest, hello underscore Kitty. Please let us know about where you can be found on the internet, what you're doing, what's coming up in for you.
So you can find me on Twitch at happy__kitty. You can also find me on Twitter at kittycat851987. My updates for my Twitch are linked to that, so if you follow the Twitter, you will know when I go live. I am hoping to do a Portal game run that includes Portal 2, and a couple of Portal mods. Story-driven mods, because there are some non-story-driven mods out there that are good as well. I'm hoping to get to that in April. I'm hoping to finish Phoenix Wright soon. And of course, we have Pathfinder Thursdays, where we run through our AP of Rise of the Rune Lords every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time tentative, because sometimes we start a little early, sometimes we start a little late. So you can stop by for that. And it's a lot of fun. We've got some quirky individuals as far as our characters go. And funny enough, my character is the only one that has survived from session 1. Considering that one of our characters from session 1 just recently revived, my character is the only one that has made it through all of the books so far and has not died once.
Nice.
So, a little proud of that one.
A little proud, yeah.
She's a squishy sorcerer. What do you
You would think, yeah. All right. And Rhodey, what about you? What's going on?
Well, hopefully, I'm going to finish the Shapeshifting Detective this week. I really want to boot it up and play it and finish it because it's such an amazing FMV game, and so I'm hoping to stream on like Monday or Tuesday. You can find me on twitch.tv/RhodeyPie. In other games, I'm hoping to finish Herald, an interactive period drama, or at least push a little bit further with it. I really want to like have another tick. It's done. That's done. That's in my completed pile. But yeah, you can also find us on our curator page. We write up a lot of our reviews there and a lot of the games that we've spoken about on here as well. But if you want to sign up for that, you can catch up with all the other games that you might have missed, and you might get a couple of recommendations. So I'll put the link here.
Yep. And of course, for folks on YouTube, you can find all those links right down below. And yeah, just please like, subscribe, and thank you for hanging out with us for another week of great releases.
Yeah, and tell us which was your favorite games.
Yep. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye!
Bye.